So essentially what I did right now was, if you did not hear, I just went over the requirements of SeaPort NxG. And I mentioned that it's if you don't have the PowerPoint presentation slides for the previous webinars that I held, you can download it right here to the right of the screen. You can click on File and then download it. And I said that if you have any questions, just put them up on the chat, and I will go through them. Now, having said that, I also mentioned the requirements for NxG, the SeaPort NxG. Essentially, 3 requirements. You're supposed to provide one contract. That contract must be towards one of the 23 subcategories that are listed, and I will show you the subcategories if you want. Let me see if I can bring that up so you can actually see what I'm talking about, the subcategories. Okay, so going through this, there. These are the subcategories under engineering services. There are 12 of them, and it's listed different types of engineering, modeling, research and development, all different types that come under essentially 541330 NAICS code, if you want the NAICS code. And then the second area, these are 12. The second area is program management services, and this covers financial analysis, quality assurance, database administrators, logistics, public affairs, and multimedia support. So you can see it covers a lot of different areas. So there are 11 here, 12 there, overall 23 areas. Now, the requirement for you to be able to get on this vehicle, there's no competition with others. You just have to pass the requirements. The main requirement is this. You have to provide one contract that covers one of these 23, not even 2, just one of these 23 areas, subcategories. And so that's the first requirement. Second requirement was the contract must have been towards the DoD, Department of Defense. Now, DoD covers the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, a lot of sub-departments like Defense Health Agency, Defense Transportation Agency, and others. So towards any of those, but covering one of those 23 subcategories is good. And then it has to have been performed within the last 10 years. So performance must be within the past 10 years. If that's the case, you're good to go. There is a loophole. If you don't have this contract, then, but you do have personnel who have this experience, that's acceptable as well. And lastly, maybe you were a subcontractor to a prime contractor who performed a contract towards the DoD. That's good too. So subcontracts count. You can use a subcontract, but obviously it must be within the last 10 years, and it must cover one of those 23 areas. And the prime's work must have been towards the DoD, one of the departments under DoD. Okay. So having said that, let me start by going over the question and answers 1 minute so I can bring up everything, and then we can start. Okay. Question, what does the Navy look for in terms of the technical response? They don't really say what they're looking for in the RFE. Yeah, they're a little bit vague, but essentially you're supposed to present that one contract. So you're supposed to reason towards, because obviously I showed you the titles for those 23 subcategories. Obviously your contract doesn't exactly say that. So you're supposed to reason out, explain why you think the contract that you're presenting to the government is toward one of those 23 areas. So you have to provide reasoning in your technical proposal. So connect to one of those 23 areas, show that it was towards one of the DoD departments, and show that it was performed within the past 10 years. Of course, you also have to provide documents for that. And these documents include, for example, the award document, perhaps the statement of work where you highlight in the scope of work why you say that this contract was towards one of those 23 subcategories. So all of these come into the technical section of the proposal. Okay, another question is, let's see. We provide the leadership and coaching services to an LSC through NAVSUP as prime under NAICS code 541612. Yes, if you see one of the subcategories was training, so you can actually provide that. By all means, you can do that. And then, as I mentioned in the previous question, that I answered, you have to reason out why this is towards that specific subcategory. So it's important not to just submit documents about your contract, but also write. So you need a little bit of writing skill. You need to provide the reasoning, concise, specific reasoning why the contract scope was towards one of those 23 areas. And as I said, also show that it was under the DoD and within the 10 years period. Would this qualify under program management support services, professional development and training support, analytical and organizational assessment support? This is a continuation of the previous question. Yeah, it's essentially professional development and training support. So you can actually put it under there. Shane has a question. I answered Shane's question. Ruth, what category would translation services fall under? I have to look that up, but I'm sure that is covered in the program management area. I have to look it up. I'll send you an email. I know that 2 other companies have the same question. They have asked me. I just have to look it up, and I will send it to you, Ruth. I guess I have your email when you registered, so I will send that to you. Where can we download the presentation? Okay, so 2 points if you did not hear it at the beginning. This presentation is being recorded, so the recording will be sent to you, but the slide deck for the previous webinar, full webinar, that we went through the entire SeaPort program, and then we discussed all the requirements for the proposal, how the government is going to review, and provided some experience sharing and win strategy, all of that. Of course, you can come to our website, GDI Consulting, GDICwins.com, and download the presentation itself. But the presentation slide is here, so you can download it right now. To the right, under File, there's a tab called File. Click on that and download the presentation slide. So this is a PDF that you can go through, and I hope it will be helpful for you. Okay, we want to be a subcontractor. Can you align us with such partnerships? Well, that is not necessarily done right now. I mean, you don't need to do that right now because I did explain it in the full webinar. Teaming is not really required here, and you don't gain anything from teaming at this point of submission of the proposal, because you cannot, remember this, use a contract from your subcontractor. For example, say you're a company that has not worked with the DoD, say perhaps you've worked with the Homeland Security or other agencies, and you want to participate. You cannot bring in a subcontractor and use their contract. Perhaps they work with the DoD. You cannot do that. It's not allowed. So the contract must be yours as the prime who are submitting your offer to the government for getting on SeaPort NxG. That's why teaming right now is really not important at all. You don't have to team up with anyone. Some companies are, using JVs. Obviously, that's fine. but then the contract that they submit must be in the name of the JV. But that's why your question regarding, wanting to subcontract with other members, that's a good thing, because there are a few thousand companies actually on Seaport, and it's good opportunity. But it's not, perhaps it might not be a good time right now. It might be better when, not when, but it might be better towards the task orders. So approach companies with regards to the different task orders that are at hand, and they might actually want to, team up with you. At the same time, if a company asks us to look for a partner, we can always recommend you to them. Okay. Shane says, if we bid on program management services, does that preclude us from responding to engineering support services in the future, since we can only respond to one now? Right, that's a great question, and that's one of the ambiguities right now on Seaport, on this admission. In your proposal right now, you cannot provide for both. So you're supposed to provide one contract that is either towards engineering or towards program management. Now, at the task order time, there is a little bit of ambiguity. It's probably that you will be precluded, so to say, from participating in the other. Say you, for example, submit towards engineering, probably you will not be able to actually participate in program management task orders. But that's not final. That's one of the things that we have asked the contracting officer ourselves, and other companies have asked. We'll have to see how they do that. I'm sorry, I don't have a exact answer to you. Brent, what do you think security systems design and installation would be included? Security systems design and installation per se is not included in any of these, but if you look at the the system for services, there is IT support services included there. So you might be able to actually reason that the specific contract that you have in mind covers that area, but not under, security, more towards IT support services and similar. Okay. Question from Suresh regarding J3 pre-award accounting system questionnaire. We don't have to fill part B now, correct? Right. So essentially, this is a good question because it's an important one. This JP3 pre-award accounting, I explained it in the full webinar. This is one of the features, and let me explain the two main features of Seaport that sets it apart from many of the other vehicles. That's why it's a very good one to go after. One is that it makes easier to get a DCMA approved accounting system. Per government contracting rules and regulations, if you don't have a DCAA or DCMA, these are agencies within the government, approved accounting system, in other words, they have not come in and checked your accounting system and approved it. If you don't have that, then the only types of contracts that you can participate in are firm fixed price contracts. But if you get your system approved, your accounting system approved by DCAA, DCMA, these two agencies work together. If you get it approved by them, then you can actually participate in all the task orders that are, say, cost and time, and all different types of cost-based requirements contracts. So usually under many of these vehicles, firm fixed price is just say 25% or 30% of the task orders that they put out. The rest of them are usually time-based or cost-based contracts. If you don't have DCAA-approved accounting systems, then you cannot participate in them. Now, you might say, hey, my accounting system is not ready for that. That's fine, because Seaport is going to be awarded in September. And then once it's awarded, it's not that if you're awarded on 1st of September, DCAA is going to come and audit you on the 2nd of September. It's probably sometime in 2025 that, because they put you in a queue, that the audit will be done. So you have about a year perhaps to prepare for it. Now, the good thing is this. If you're not part of, say, Seaport, and you want an approved DCAA accounting system, you have to ask DCAA to come in and approve your system. And that's a long queue, may take years sometimes, okay? But the good thing here is that under this J3 pre-award accounting system, if there are 3 sections, A, B, and C, that you tick. You either, A says that, hey, I already have a DCMA approved system, that's good. B says, I don't have a DCMA approved, but I'm ready for it, meaning that you're ready in 2025. But that's the good thing. If you tick B, means that you will be put automatically on a queue that DCMA will actually come and review your system. So you don't have to ask for them, and it's not going to take a long time. And then C says, hey, I don't need a DCA. I'm going to go for firm fixed price task orders only. So what I'm recommending all companies to do is to actually go for that B. If you don't have a DCMA approved accounting system, go for item B, tick that, and then you have about a year to prepare yourself. But this way, you actually can participate in a lot more task orders than before. And coming back to the question, sorry, I'm talking too much. Yes, there's a part B that you're not supposed to actually, those A, B, C are different from the part B that you don't have to actually fill out. So all you have to do is you have to fill out 3 items, A, B, or C. You just tick them, one of them, and you're good to go as far as J3 pre-award accounting system questionnaire is concerned. Okay, let's see if there are more questions. Some questions here. Can we submit, Robert says, can we submit for more than one category, e.g. training and program management, using different past performance citations? If so, is that under one proposal or 2 separate? No, you cannot. So at the end of the day, you have to pick one contract and only one that covers one and only one of those 23. I don't mean that, maybe the contract does cover 2 or 3 of them, but in your proposal, you're supposed to submit the contract towards one of the 23 areas. And that's it. You cannot submit 2 proposals. If you do that, they will disqualify you. They're very strict on that. Can we add, Amanda says, can we add teaming companies after the award? Yes, you can. So per task order, you can always add teams members. So for a specific task order, you might have a subcontractor. That's part of the team. That's fine. They're not stopping you to do that. Let's see. Andrew asks about how about writing skills for how get it better. Well, to be honest, if you've not done this before, then you better ask a friend or out to write it. A friend who has experience, perhaps a proposal manager who has experience to actually write this for you. It's not a very long proposal or anything like that, but it's important not to lose any the focus of the writing. And if you don't have anyone, then go look for a third party. Of course, our company does that, but I'm not saying that you should come to our company. Find the third party, a company that is proficient in writing proposals, and they will help you prepare the technical part. Usually when we do it, we help our clients with the entire thing. So all the forms, everything is done by us. We just get the information from the client and just put it in. Let's see. Betty says, I have DCAA come and provided us with a pre-approved accounting system report. Do we still select option B? No, if you have a approved accounting system by DCAA or DCMA, you're good to go. You tick B, tick A. A says, I already have a DCAA approved. So A is, I already have. B says, I want it. C says, no, I don't want it. I'm good with firm fixed price task orders only. So let's see if I have okay, more questions here. Where can we find a list of awardees? Okay, I do have a list of awardees. I don't have the emails, but I can always send you the list of awardees, Amanda. So I can send that, but you can also check that from SAM. If you have GovWin, you can find it in GovWin. So it's not, very confidential. They have actually issued out the list of all the awardees. So for those companies who want to actually subcontract, that's the best place to start. Find the list of awardees and start communicating with those companies and talk to them. A few more questions. You mentioned in another webinar that this opportunity provides other features. Can you expand on that? Right. So I mentioned DCMA approved accounting system. The good thing about SeaPort NxG is that it speeds up this approval system. So for those companies who are looking for accounting system, approved accounting systems, this is a really good vehicle. I have heard that there's companies that have participated in SeaPort NxG just for that, just to get their accounting system. Because once you get your approved accounting system by the CMA, then you use that for other vehicles also. So it's not that it's only for SeaPort. If you have an approved accounting system, then for any other vehicle, you can actually participate in all the cost type task orders as well. What if we don't have DoD contracts? Right, so I did mention it. If you don't have DoD contracts, but do have personnel who have experience working with DoD under one of those 23 areas within the past 10 years, you're good to go. You can actually use that. So there's a loophole here. No, I shouldn't say loophole. They've done this intentionally. So you can use that experience in lieu of, the contract. So if you don't have a contract, you can use that. So don't lose hope if you don't have a contract. But do remember, you can't bring in a contract from a subcontractor. So you can't bring in a team member and then use their contract. The contract must come from you. If you don't have it, then try to see if you can have a employee that does have that. And next question, John says, what should we provide for proof of our contract? Okay, so as I mentioned, perhaps the award document, statement of work, any FPDS reporting, if you know what FPDS is. FPDS is a government website that lists all the contracts from the towards the government contractors. So you can it's considered official. So you can actually print out a listing of your contract, or if you have the SF33 signed form that the contracting officer signed, we call it a award document. So if you have that, the statement of work, these are all the documents that you can actually submit alongside your technical proposal. So you have a technical proposal in which you provide reasoning and try to connect the content of your contract with one of those 23 subcategories, but also you have to provide official documents. And this is what I'm talking about. So Word documents, statement of work, and these types of, or FPDS printing, these are all acceptable. Steve says, what should we provide for proof of personal experience? Okay, that's a good question. They're not very specific towards that. So the more specific, the more information you can provide, the better. Perhaps a W-2 printout of the employee, his resume, and then even if you can provide references that they can actually contact in the DoD, saying that, hey, he worked, for example, in the acquisition department of the Army from year 2020 till 2021, and this is the name of the contracting officer he worked under. This is the name, email, and phone number. So this way they can actually contact. So the more information you provide, the more proof you provide, the better. Next question, what NAICS code should our contract have when we provide it? This is another Steve. Good question. So the NAICS code for this SeaPort NxG is 541330. But this is the NAICS code for two reasons. Each, as you know, each solicitation, each RFP in the government must, connect to one NAICS code. And even though this covers a lot of different NAICS codes, from financials to engineering to logistics and everything, and then these have different NAICS codes, they have to decide at the end of the day on one NAICS code. And they have decided on the 541330, which is engineering and research and development. So essentially, your contract has no requirement as far as NAICS code is concerned. So your contract can be anything, doesn't matter. It just has to, tie in with those 23 subcategories. However, and note this, because they want to check if your company is small or large, they do that under 541330. So if you're small under NAICS code 541330, you're considered a small company. If you're large, larger than the threshold, I think it's $47 million, something like that, then you're considered a large business. And if you're large, for example, you have to submit a subcontracting plan as well. But the important thing, as far as most companies concerned, is this. Many companies are, say, IT, or there are even marketing companies, because these are covered under under program management services. There are logistics and things like that. So in SAM, they don't have 541330. Okay. Now, what you should do is go into SAM and add 541330 in your list of NAICS codes. This is important. So this is a very good question that Steve mentioned. You have to add 541330 in the list of NAICS codes that you have under SAM, and that way the government will know if you're small or large. So that's something that you should do before submission. Okay, next question. Are they going to give task orders for specific socioeconomic categories? We are 8A. Julie says that. Okay, yes. So they are allowed to provide set-aside task orders. So once you're awarded the IDIQ contract, the MAC contract, there is a separate portal for SeaPort. So the task orders are not listed under SAM. There's a separate portal that you will be given access to, and task orders are listed there. So there, the government is allowed to actually say, hey, this task order is for 8As only. This task order is for women-owned small business only. So yes, in that presentation slide, if you download it, you will see that I have given numbers for how much the government has paid different socioeconomic category companies so far in the Seaport program. Okay, Paul has a question, says, is there going to be another rolling admission? Well, this rolling, the Seaport NxG started in 2019 and will go until 2028, and it will finish. So it's a 10-year program, and 5-year base, and then 5-year options, and they're in the fifth year, in the option 5-year. So I personally don't think that they're going to do that. So if they wanted to do that, it would be sometime in 27 or maybe late 26. And I doubt it that they will, spend efforts to do that. I think they're going to go for the next iteration, the next 10 year of the Seaport program, which is going to be finished in 2028. So they have to think about, the next iteration of that. So they haven't said anything about that, but personally, I don't think that they're going to have another one. What is the budget for this opportunity? So this opportunity, as I mentioned, Seaport NxG is a 10-year period IDIQ, and the total budget for this is $50 billion. So essentially, it's like $5 billion per year. They haven't reached the limit. They're obviously in the middle of it, but that's the budget they can spend on. And again, as I said, if you download the presentation slides, there are a few slides regarding how much they have spent so far per year, and it's a very healthy contract. It's growing each year, so it shows that they're using it more and more each year. So it's a very good opportunity to be actually on it. Okay, let me see if there are questions that I have missed. I'm not seeing here anything. Oh, Betty says, is pre-approved equal to approved? As far as I know, if it's it has, you have said DCAA. The final is given by DCMA. I think you might be in the middle of a process in which DCAA gives a pre-approval, and then DCMA gives the final approval. Sometimes they do work like that. But since you are in the process, you can always tick A. Because essentially they're asking whether you want them to actually put you on the queue for another review. But since you are in the process, you don't have to do that. So you should actually tick A, even though you might not have the final DCMA approval letter. But since DCAA has given you the pre-approval accounting system, pre-approval for your accounting system, you're good to go. So just tick A. Okay, let's see. I think Amanda says list of awardees. I mentioned that. Okay, I think I have answered all the questions. If I have not answered anyone's question, please retype it. I might have missed it, and I will answer you immediately. Okay. Will task orders be listed on sam.gov? Amanda asks. As I said, no. So it will be given access to a portal, a separate portal for Seaport, and task orders will be listed there. So that's why only companies that have a Seaport contract can actually bid on those task orders. Any other questions? Okay. Lastly, I have given my email address in that presentation slide deck that you can download, and I will leave it here so you can actually have time to download it if you have not done that. So if you come up with any questions in the future, by all means, email me, and I can always respond back to you. Also, if you need free consultation, our company provides, let me cover what services we also provide so that it shows how we can actually help you. Let's see. Okay, how we can help you there. This is our track record, past 10 years, but as far as the Seaport is concerned, I personally helped 23 companies win, small businesses win on the original Seaport NxG and 3 large businesses. So this is a track record for our company. And then the services we provide specifically towards Seaport is free consultation, as I mentioned. In that slide deck that you can download, my colleague's email, Maroon Freedy, is there, and phone number. You can always communicate with him to set up a time for a call. We'll jump on a call, answer any questions that you might have. Now, if you want to our support for preparing your proposal, obviously, we put a dedicated team to that, a proposal manager, as well as a compliance manager to make sure that there's no mistakes, compliance mistakes. And we provide cradle to grave support for all the the volumes, the forms, everything. And we do multiple reviews. Also, if you want us to do reviewing by itself, so you want to do the proposal yourself, you have a proposal manager, but you want somebody to review it, we can do all that as well. We provide full proposal review. So these are the types of services that we provide to you if you want outside support. Outside of Seaport, obviously, we can provide proposal development support for other opportunities that you might be after. We provide review support, capture management, support services usually is for larger businesses like Black Hat, Price to Win, competitive intel, and then finally training, both in development, proposal development, and capture management. So these are the services that you can ask for from our company. Let's see, any other questions? I'm at your service for this whole hour. So, okay, list of awardees. Okay, Amanda, I will send you the list of awardees. Anybody else, if they want a list of awardees, just mention it right here. And I know that you want it, so I will be sending you that list of awardees as well. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here to answer. Okay, I'm getting more requests for the list. Good. If just one thing, Amanda gave me your her email, but if you want the list and you did not provide your own email, please provide your email on the chat. Or if you registered with your email, that's good. I can look it up and then send the list to you. My contact email is on the, if you download the document, under file, the presentation slide deck, it's there. So you can actually, it's slide, actually the next slide, I think, right after this one. So right after this slide, so it's slide number 34, you'll see that my email, phone number, I'm not usually at my phone, so email me. But Maroon is also my colleague. You want to set up any call, anything, communicate with Maroon or his phone number, and we are happy to help you. Okay, it seems that we are done. I want to thank everyone. And as I said, if you still come up with questions, by all means, communicate with me. I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you again for participating in our webinar, and I look forward to seeing you in our future webinars as well. Have a great day.